Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I've been writing a lot of poetry today, and so this is the second poem that I wanted to share with you. In this video, we're talking about a serious battle that many brothers and sisters face. Statistically, I think it's about every 11 minutes, a brother or sister takes their own life. One person every 11 minutes. I think that is the last statistic that I read about suicide. And it's people, brothers and sisters taking their own lives. It could be prevented, but what needs to happen for suicide to be prevented is we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be honest about the fact that at some churches, brothers and sisters are afraid to speak their mind. They're afraid to tell people their burdens because they're going to be judged. They're going to be critiqued harshly. They're going to be looked at differently. And so we have brothers and sisters who are holding that pain inside, and they're not letting anyone know. And as that pain grows and festers, sooner or later, they self-destruct and they take their own life for whatever reason, And so I wanted to read this poem to you guys that's titled "Stay One More Day," because it's what I'm feeling today, that there are brothers and sisters who are writing a note to their parents, writing a note to their kids, writing a note to their loved ones, and they're saying, "I'm sorry, but there was no other way out. I had to do this." And so I just pray that this video reaches a brother or sister in need and encourages them and reminds them that you're not alone. We love you so much. There's brothers and sisters here on this app that love you, and we want to see you happy. We want to see you smile. We want to see you live a purposeful, joyful life. So please don't give up. So we're going to read this. Like I said, it's titled "Stay One More Day." There were nights I swore I wouldn't see the morning. Nights when the darkness sat beside my bed like an old friend, whispering lies so often they started sounding like truth. It told me I was broken. It told me I was damaged. It told me the world would be better if I simply disappeared. And for a long time I believed it. I carried grief before I knew how to spell it. I carried trauma before I knew what trauma was. I carried pain that felt heavier than any child should ever have to hold. Some days I wasn't living, I was surviving, and sometimes even that felt impossible. Madness entered my life like a storm with no warning. Voices, hallucinations, paranoia, fear, the constant battle of trying to determine what was real and what wasn't. Some people saw a diagnosis. Some people saw a stereotype. Some people saw a crazy man. Very few saw the human being underneath, the man who was terrified, the man who was exhausted, the man who desperately wanted peace. I spent years fighting battles that nobody else could see, and invisible battles still leave scars. Then addiction found me. Alcohol, cocaine, anything that promised a few moments of silence, anything that could shut off the noise in my head, anything that could make me forget. But addiction never keeps its promises. It takes and takes and takes until one day you wake up and barely recognize yourself. I lost pieces of myself trying to escape myself. I searched for healing in places that only created more wounds, and the pain grew louder. There were moments when I stood at the edge, moments when giving up felt easier than continuing, moments when suicide looked like an answer. Not because I wanted to die, because I didn't know how to keep carrying the weight. That is something many people misunderstand. Most suicidal people don't want death. They want relief. They want the suffering to stop. They want peace. And when pain becomes overwhelming, the mind starts looking for exits. But pain lies. Pain says forever. Pain says hopeless. Pain says impossible. Pain is wrong. If you are reading this while fighting your own darkness, I need you to hear me. Stay. Stay one more hour. Stay one more night. Stay one more day. You do not have to solve your entire life today. You do not have to heal overnight. You do not have to be strong every second. You simply have to keep breathing. The world has enough tombstones. What it needs is more survivors, more stories, more people who look death in the eye and chose life anyway. I know what it feels like to think nobody understands. I know what it feels like to cry in silence. I know what it feels like to smile when falling apart. I know what it feels like to be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. But I also know this. The voices were wrong. The addiction was wrong. The darkness was wrong. My story did not end there. And neither does yours. You are more than your diagnosis, more than your trauma, more than your mistakes, more than your worst day. My faith became a light when everything else felt dark. Not because life suddenly became easy, not because all my struggles vanished, but because I finally stopped carrying them alone. There were days when my prayers were nothing more than, Jesus, help me. And somehow that was enough. The storm didn't always stop, but I learned I wasn't abandoned inside it. When I couldn't see hope, God carried it for me. When I couldn't see tomorrow, God reminded me to focus on today. One breath, one prayer, one step, one day at a time. So this poem is for every person standing where I once stood. The addict, the schizophrenic, the survivor, the exhausted soul, the person secretly wondering if anyone would care if they were gone. We would. I would. Your story matters. Your life matters. Your future matters. There are people you haven't met yet who will need your testimony. There are lives you haven't touched yet. There are victories you haven't seen yet. Do not let a temporary storm convince you to make a permanent decision. Stay. Stay for the sunrise. Stay for the healing. Stay for the chapters that have not been written yet. Stay because your life is worth fighting for. Stay because hope still exists. Stay because you are needed. Stay because you are loved. Stay one more day. So that's what I wrote, brothers and sisters, when it comes to that battle to where you're so close to giving up. You're so close to ending it, and you don't know where to turn, who to turn to, who to talk to. You feel alone, you feel abandoned. And so I hope brothers and sisters who watch this video realize I've been where you are. I felt what you felt, and you're not alone. So please, reach out, DM me, send me a message, and I'm more than happy to sit with you and just for us to talk about life. So please, please, please do not give up. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment and share, and I would appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much. God bless.